Hello and welcome to Make It Make Sense with Auntie. I'm your girl Auntie, and I am feeling a lot better if you can see. So today's topic, we got something to discuss. I'm pretty sure that this topic is going to be touchy for some. So there's going to be a lot of people out here that may understand, and then again, they won't understand, and that is more than welcome. With Make It Make Sense with Auntie. If you are I'm gonna give y'all time to to get in here because I hope that we have a large turnout so we can get this information because I am looking for input. So if you are looking and you watching or you listening and you have an opinion today, you can go ahead and tap in. Maybe we can get you on the line so we can get your thoughts. Before we get into that, I want to do all my little round of shout outs. So of course we're gonna show out over at Smooth Transitions Design. So y'all want to make sure if y'all want to get into y'all design, graphic design, well, make sure y'all get y'all. Y'all see Etsy. I'm rocking it, my own apparel. Yes, Smooth Transitions. Contact them today for your free consultation with Show Out 656-214-9209. Maybe listen, go ahead and get your designs in. The holidays coming up, Halloween coming up. Go ahead and get you some custom apparel. You have any businesses, you're starting your brand, you want to reach out to this young man and most definitely go ahead and get in there, get your logos done. Like I said, of course, y'all know I rock mines all the time. I'm always wearing Smooth Transitions wear. It is, trust me, the official maker of Make It Make Sense with Auntie. So again, if you need any of your cartoon designs, if you have any events coming up and you're looking for something customized, and trust me, it don't just stop at shirts. We have some new things getting ready to come out. I'm in the process of creating right now. And listen, if you don't understand what it's like to be dealing with ridiculitis, trust me, it is ridiculous, literally. But no, I do. I have it. It's a nerve compression. It's very painful. But I actually hand sew pillows. So we making keychains, make it make sense pillow keychains. And these keychains are to remind you that it is okay to rest. Now, with it being so hot outside, and trust me, we're in Florida in triple digits. If you are hot, uncomfortable, listen, if you are dealing with any of the skin issues, eczema, of course, HS, what I live with, we are HS warriors over here. You want to go ahead and reach out to the HSO company with Pedro Romero. Tell him Auntie sent you. Go out there, go order you something for your skin. I guarantee you, I can guarantee you, you will be satisfied. If you get them, I think it's Magic Healer. It actually does remove and erase some scarring. So you might want to try that out. And it is, you can use it on your kids. Soft, sensitive skin. I use it. They told me I was glowing. So, hey, let's glow. And again, don't you forget my girl Rena. I'm pretty sure some of y'all gonna want to reach out to her after this consultation today, that we're gonna call it a consultation. Some of y'all might want to reach out over there for some healing. Go over, reach out to Rena Simone Health and Wellness. Listen, it's worth it. Talk to her. You know what I'm saying? She does a little of this and a little of that. Go check out her website. And of course, when life gives you lemons, make it make sense for Auntie. I am a mentor and a host. I love what I do. I'm trying to do it full time, y'all. So listen, I'm looking for sponsors. So if you're a sponsor out there, if you are looking for something to sponsor that is productive, and we are out, I'm telling you, I'm out and about. If you can always make a contribution. Y'all see it scrolling across the screen. You can send a cash out, Auntie 79. We do have PayPal. We have a couple of other ways that you can donate. It's not always about money. I mean, it is, but it's not. You can also donate donations to Make It Make Sense for Auntie, and also to When Life Give You Lemons Youth. They're taking, of course, school supplies, toiletries. You can always make a donation if you have. And I told them I'm going to go ahead and set up an account through the Walmart business account. We're going to set it up and Amazon as well, that we will create a wish list. So if you would like to go and purchase items for us to give out into the communities. And when I say this, into the communities, my donations does not just mean that they're going to Tampa, Florida. If you have a community that is in need and we are looking, you know what I'm saying, because it's needed. It's needed. We see the homeless population is out of control right now. So hurricane season is starting up. We have a lot of displaced people. We see what's going on with Trump in Washington. So we can see, I'm pretty sure we're going to see another influx of homeless people, because where I work at, we have a few more than what we normally have. So I know that is in effect. I used to be homeless, so I know what it's like. Currently, as y'all see, we are still in the hotel. And so we'll give you a heads up on that. Like I told y'all, I'm not sure how much I went into it. Can't really remember too much. It was really a blur. It's a lot been going on. As you've been paying attention, we were preparing to move into Make It Make Sense Studios. There was a situation where we did pay. I have the receipts to provide. We did pay for the location. We were supposed to move in on the 8th of the month. We did find out that pretty much we had been scammed out of the money. We are in the process of getting refunds. However, and I'm saying if y'all some lawyers out there, y'all want to get some advice, you know what I'm saying? Trust me when I tell you, we spent money for the location. We did everything we were supposed to. We had the utilities turned on. We paid security deposits. We paid renter's insurance. We did everything. And then we were told that the unit was actually rented out to another person. And I also have a signed lease for the unit. So we are still searching for Make It Make Sense Studios, but we know that Make It Make Sense Studios is wherever Auntie takes it. So it ain't about a building, it's about what we're building. And I need y'all to definitely make that make sense. Now, today's conversation, we're gonna slide on in. And shout out to my girl Miss K. We know life is life, and I know she's spending time with her kids and the grandchildren. She have things going on. School's back in session. Single mamas rock. So we know that we always love her when she can get a chance to get in. She taps in. We know she is a hardworking individual. We love her. We miss her. We'll be excited when she come back. I saw show out. He is out in the field. He's working tonight as well, so he may be able to tap in. Then again, he may not. But we always want y'all to know that Make It Make Sense with Auntie. We are still a team and we are still here. Also, it's Thursday. We starting it off live for BFAM at 5. We are here. So be prepared. It's an ongoing thing tonight. You lock in, go ahead, get your dinner, start cooking, pick up your kids, do whatever you got to do. Tune in. You're here with me till 6. Then you're going to be followed by, we always got Zoe over at Speak That Shit. You guys are the worst. And then we're going to close the night out with BFAM News with Auntie. Again, all these shows, you want to go and make sponsorships, donate. Listen, it's positivity. Everybody got to have a way of living. We out here doing what we can for the community, and sometimes it takes the donations and the giving back. So, and y'all know Auntie don't ask for money, but trust me, Auntie broke. I just told y'all what we did with the funds. I never had a problem with being transparent, so I've never had a problem with telling people what my donations was for, what money was used for. I've never had an issue with having people come out to see what we're doing with it. But that's what happened. So yes, we will be and make it make sense. Eventually, not sure when, but we know God does everything in decency and in order. So when we are ready to move into this building, that is what is going to take place. Now, with that being said, today's conversation, I'm pretty sure we're going to do this in parts. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I don't want this, by no means is Auntie bashing anybody. By no means is this directed to any particular person, but it is directed to people. We are going to discuss, and this is to me, and this is not to bash men. Hopefully, some of my men tap in. If you listening, if you watching, y'all go ahead and reach out. Y'all let me know your thoughts. Go ahead and tell me. So today's conversation is basically being a male, being born a male versus being a man. Now, this conversation is going to hit some people across and above the head. Some people going to be struck right in the heart. Some people going to be mad at Auntie, and I'm okay with that. I am truly okay with the fact of, you know what I'm saying, people not accepting accountability. However, I wish they would. I'm okay with, people playing the blame game because I deal with it every day. Hence why we are having this conversation today. I've dealt with this a few times, and that's why we're going to address it. And again, like I said, it was brought to me by some of my listeners. And so I felt that it was necessary that we do have this conversation. So when it was brought to me about being a male born versus being a man, and I know there's a lot of people that say, what's the difference? But we're going to break that down. So I'm pretty sure we have met many men or males that haven't, born male. And as we see when we're dealing with the LGBT community, when we're dealing with identity association. When we're dealing with, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of things that people identify as. And so I want to go on this and say that I know that there are people who, there are softer males, there are, they're very dominant males, and we have the very aggressive males. Same thing with women. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to divide it, but I do want to divide it because we are talking about two different species. Now, excuse me. I'm not here to knock anybody for the choices or the decisions that they make. I'm not here to, what I'm saying, to try to make anybody feel bad about the conversation that is at hand. However, I am addressing it because it's an issue that has been dealt with by a multitude of people. We see it every day on social media. We see toxic breakups. We see different things, but we're gonna discuss it. So I know for a fact that being in the male species that there are males that are born that, like I say, softer males. They may not be as dominant. They and we see them all the time. They may not, and that does not classify them as being gay. However, they're just a softer male. So this is a male that you pretty much probably wouldn't look to for protection. You probably wouldn't look to this person for those sorts of things, because that's not something that they are able to effectively give. I'm gonna just say it that way. I see that it. I've seen that it has a tendency to veer its head when we have people that have maybe come from toxic relationships. Maybe they have, some insecurities. I have talked to some of my clients, and they've been discussing some of the issues, for whatever reasons why they may be a softer male. First, before we get into this, I want to address you, gentlemen. Now, listen. And when I say gentlemen, I mean gentlemen, because there are a lot of men that, and like I said, that are not gay, that love women. However, they are a very softer man. Um, and that maybe they are raised by grandmothers, or maybe they was raised by a house full of women. Tend to be more emotional creatures. Now, there is nothing wrong with that. However, you have to make sure that when you are looking and seeking to date, and that's in any aspect, that you are matching and being equally yoked. I understand that there's a lot of trauma bonding that goes on in our society because there's so many situations that people are dealing with. There's a lot of things that people may look to when they haven't received certain mental assistance, or certain situations they've never gotten healing from. We have people, that have a tendency that which are very that may be more insecure with a person or more insecure within themselves. You have some people that are just those individuals. Now, I am going to speak to them first. Listen, I understand, and I do. I completely 100% understand that you may not be a dominant person because I literally be screaming, I want to be soft. I do want to be soft. I do. Maybe not run over soft, but yeah, I want to be soft. When I really truly feel that when you are a person of that stature or that nature, then it is a tendency to self sabotage yourself. I truly feel that it is it's a disadvantage if you are a person that is seeking relationships with people that may or may not be able to be adequate in that relationship, based on what your makeup is. I'm just saying like that. I'm a like so I'm a very, and as you see, I'm a very dominant person. I'm a very real person. So I'm a person that actually keep it 100. And I have a tendency of saying things and they come out the wrong way, and they do. And then I also, because I am a sorry not sorry person, sometimes I have the tendency to not overlook a person's feelings, but I am what they call I'm referred to as me. And I want people to know that I'm not a mean person. I'm a real person. I'm not a person that is like literally sitting around to bash anybody, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. So I'm a person that will hold you accountable. And I'm not one that's going to allow a person just to sit around me and expect me to overlook, you know what I'm saying, the choices and the decisions that they make. So if you are if you making decisions and you know that this is who you are, I truly feel that you need to be honest with yourself, and then you're able to be honest with others. Because going into relationships or building situationships with people based on the fact of what I'm saying, you being um what is this? What is the word? I don't want to keep saying soft. But based on the fact that you're maybe not as dominant or you maybe not as masculine, that's what it is. If you're not as masculine, that is okay. Which is gonna lead me into, but you yourself have to accept that you, not anybody else. That is a you problem. You are a person. So if you are a person that knows that you may have a tendency to be a softer individual or a non-masculine individual, or you know what I'm saying, I need you to understand. And this go for your children too. If you raising children and they are in household, if you see the kids and then we hear them all the time, some of the kids get bullied, they get picked on for whatever the reasons, you know what I'm saying? I need you to teach those children to be able to be held accountable. And they also need to be able to be built, strong resilience. I need these children to understand what self-love is. Because before you can go out there and, achieve, I believe, like those masculinity traits, is you have to go through some soft situations that sometimes to make you a little bit harder, and sometimes they may not. That may or may not make you want to be stronger. And then that's when I feel that we get some other individuals that become timid. I also believe that there is a lot of mama trauma that can play a big part in a lot of the roles of some men. And I believe that it is. I won't lie that we see, the social medias, we see the posts, we see the topics, the conversations that go on. I believe that there is a lot of hurt that has been instilled in men, because it is true. When a man is around a woman, when a son is being raised around his mother or grandmother or aunties and sisters, they begin to pick up traits. The same as if a female is raised up around all brothers, she is going to pick up masculine traits. If she is raised around uncles and cousins, if she has a productive relationship with her family, a lot of times these young ladies are able to achieve and do more things. So you are dealing with a lot of women out here that may be a lot more masculine than some of these men. But I need these men to accept where they're at. Stop going into situationships and relationships expecting people to accept you in inadequacies. Stop expecting people to accept your laziness or your choices. You have to be able to accept those characteristics of you. There is nobody that can sit up there and define who you are. We can create, I mean, a person can sit up there and they can create all types of, they could think about it. They can sit up there and say, oh, well, this is what it is. They can create rumors, but who you are will eventually reveal itself. You know what I'm saying? Regardless. So there's nothing that you can tell a person. Like, you don't have to walk around and tell a man and tell the world that you're a man, because your presence will be known. If you are and that's the big tendency. There's a lot of men, and I've dealt with it for real, for real. A lot of softer men that when women who are much more masculine do begin to speak, and I've seen there's a lot of narcissists that are, I don't know why. There are a lot of narcissistic people that have the a level of audacity that has reached an all-time high. And I know if you've been watching Making Make Sense with Auntie, if you've been on the page, y'all seen I've been making those posts, because I have been dealing with people and seeing certain situations. Well, it's crazy the level of audacity that we are seeing around the world, the way that some people are moving, the energy that they are experiencing. It is insane. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. And for anybody to ever think that Auntie is going to just barely or just accept the bare minimum because that's all you have to offer. Now let's talk about that. I had a conversation with somebody and they were telling me how, that they feel, what I'm saying, that when they're doing, the person that they may with is may or may not, what I'm saying, be contributing 100%. And or what they define as 100%. Now, I've said this many, many times, and this is Auntie's definition of the 50-50 and the 100% rule. I honestly and truly feel I don't like And I'm gonna say I don't like it. I'm not finna do it. I don't want, and I'm not going to partake in. And if it becomes an issue, then it's gonna be a problem, and I will remove myself. But the whole 50-50 rule, I believe that a 50-50 rule is it should not be in a relationship at all. I believe that in a relationship that it should be 100-100, because at a 50-50 you will never achieve 100. You never achieve 100, because if one person chooses or does not have the ability to provide that 50, you are still at 50, and now you're trying to accumulate the rest of that 50. However, if both parties are in it and they are both giving 100 and 100, and I'm seriously meaning that, and that's not saying that you're not splitting the bills, it's not that you're doing that, but I'm saying that you're giving 100 and 100, and 100, that goes for respect. And we're gonna get on respect a little bit more, because I was told that I'm very disrespectful, and I was told some things about myself by a couple of narcissistic people. And the reason and I know they say, "Oh, a narcissist call," no, listen, I'm gonna call that, because people do not like to be called out. And if you go into a group of people and you start calling out certain behavior patterns, if you start calling out certain things, you will see who is amongst in that group that are a part of certain cliques. So when I started to address some issues, I began to receive some comments from certain people, you know what I'm saying? Mostly men. Well, no, all men. I'm not gonna say mostly. It was all men. It was all the men that wanted to come for Auntie in the last couple of months, because, and that's in person, that's on social media, that's in real life, that's outside. So yeah, so we're gonna address those issues about the men that have had something to say to Auntie about accountability. So we are going to talk about accountability. So some of the things that were told to me. One, if a person gives you everything they have, or so called, even if it is not enough, you should receive that and be pretty much be grateful for it, right? And on here, Auntie, I agree to a certain extent. So, Auntie says, if you are a person that are in a situation, relationship, or whatever it is, if you know for a fact that there are certain things and requirements that are a part of this situation that you have brought yourself to. If there are certain things that a person, when we call those boundaries, which may be hard for some people to understand because they like to cross them so much. They truly like to cross boundaries, individuals. Then we are talking to you. If you go into a person's life and a person has boundaries, okay? If a person tells you what they do and don't like, if a person gives you the opportunity to still be a part of what they have going on, and you choose to continue doing the same things that do not provide all, not just what you got, not that. I know some people gonna bash me, and I don't care. I'm telling y'all, I don't care, because you are the problem. If you are making it okay for a person to always bring the bare minimum and say that that's what it is without holding them accountable, then yes, you are the issue. I've been told, because I will tell people, and I think it's crazy to me. I don't know why. I am a person that tell you exactly what it is and what it ain't. I tell you what it is, what it ain't in my everyday life, at work, at home, whoever, wherever. I've never mind doing that. So if a person tells you that they expect certain things and you continue to be in that situation with that person, okay? If you continue, now two things can happen. Either one person begins to accept what they got going on and they allow it to continue, or there is a person who may or may not leave you at that exact moment. There is a person that may give you chances. There are people out there that really, really do that. There are. However, as a man, and this is where we discuss man versus male, I asked a couple of men, if a man comes to a woman and ask them about it, because we're seeing it with the restaurants and with the bills and how that's to be expected. So let's go on the record and say I never expect anybody to pay for anything that Auntie wants. No, I never pay ask or expect anybody to pay for any habit that Auntie has had, whether it's shopping, smoking, whatever it is. If when I was drinking like that, if it's drinking, whatever, if it was what I wanted, I've never had an issue with that. I've never had an issue with getting out there hustling and getting exactly what I want. Alonzo, all right, so let's tell Alonzo. I know a few dudes that people may think they're sugar bears, but they're not. They was raised around nothing but good. And that's true. And they tend, and I see a tendency of a little bit softer male. They may be a little more emotional. They may have a lot of stuff going on because they've carried a lot of baggage. And I do believe that because I know that there are a lot of men that, like I said, was raised by women, so they do have that tendency to be a little bit softer, and that is okay. That is okay. I tell people all the time, there is somebody out there that is going to love you for who you are. Now, is it right that y'all? Now, and I'm gonna just say, stop, because though said that when you are that type of man, you have to truly know the type of woman that you, or woman or male or whoever you get in a relationship with. You have to know exactly what those people are about. You have to be able to tell these people, to relay this information to people, that this is the type of person that you are. If you are a softer person, or if you are this person and you know that you're not this particular person, I need you to accept accountability for where you're at. Don't step into relationships, don't step into situations, don't step into contracts, don't step into doing none of that. Keep your mouth closed if you know that you are unable to provide the things, that the requirements of what it is that you claim to be. And that's why we hear again with male versus man, because I've had so-called, and they say men, they want to be recognized as a man, they want to be classified as men, they want you to sit up here, they get mad, they get in their feelings when they have a consistency of maybe some whole traits, when they have consistencies of petty, immaturity, and if you call those behaviors out, they become offended, they become the victim, they and honestly, you see the more feminine sides. Those individuals are the ones that we talking to. I need y'all to accept that when y'all are going, stop labeling women, stop labeling people as being all these different, calling us out the names and oh, we supposed to accept. No, hell no. Hell no. If you a man, be a man. Be a woman, be a woman. I understand transgender, all that stuff going on. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that because they've already told you what they identify as. So they even have identification. I need y'all to identify within y'all selves. I need y'all to step accountability for yourselves. I need y'all to stop walking around here portraying all these toxic and negative traits onto other people because you have not, mastered being the person that you strive to be, or the person that you telling people that you is, or whatever is going on. I want some old men to tap in here because I don't want to be sitting up here being wrong. And I'm gonna ask the question because I know Zoe is in the building. Okay, so let's ask this. With men, what do y'all feel as like traits that some of these men have that are making like men look bad? Because I know we're seeing an influx in some of these men that's walking around here portraying to be men, or going into relationships, going into situationships, and then they get on social media or they get in front of people and then they want to portray to be this person that we all know that they're not. And that also goes to some of the women who have poured, and again, men who have poured into these individuals and created and built and recreated monsters. And now these people have been unleashed into the world, and they are releasing audacity at an all-time high. So I'm gonna apologize. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry for calling out your accountability. Sorry for counting out your toxic traits. But however, I do not apologize for holding you accountable. So I am going to say that. I definitely am. But again, if you a man, you watching, if you are maybe a soft, less masculine man, if you a masculine man and you got some input on here, I heard, and then so we're gonna go into the roles that these men and males play. So I heard, and this is what was told to me. A man told me that um, a man, a male, is not classified as a man when it comes to certain relationships, when it pertains to, and I did is when it comes to providing for certain women. They say that you can distinguish who these types of men are by the conversations that they have. That it's easy to pinpoint these individuals. However, yes, they can. A lot of them have become narcissistic. A lot of them have some traits where they try to hide it. They may become the person that they literally, and some of them are very, very intelligent because they will actually study a person behaviors, or they have perfected this shit so well that they literally will argue with you about calling out the demons. And that's what I call them. I call them the demons because y'all know they is. Listen, that's exactly what it is. Anything that won't let you call it out, get upset, be mad, go to tripping about you calling out the truth, bro. Listen, I can't, I won't. I don't care who you is. I'm gonna tell y'all again. If you are around me, I'm gonna call you out for your accountability. I'm gonna call you out, and it's not about um. Okay, because I hate when people tell you that, oh, well, you ain't give it a chance. Yes, 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 and most of them take advantage of the chances, but they still want to be considered men. So I do. I want to, and again, I'm the ones that soft by, you know what I'm saying, reset. That's just who they is, born that way. That's what you is. You know, we appreciate y'all if that's what y'all want to do, but I just want y'all to be in relationships with people that truly accept y'all. A lot of y'all jump in relationships with people that are way out of y'all league. And it becomes a um what do you call it? It becomes very toxic. Let's see, Alonzo. Women beaters make men look bad. That's true. That's true. Okay, so I got a question. And what do you feel about men that will like push and trigger women just to have a reason for a response or maybe do stuff like that? What's up? Show out is in the building. In the building. Right. So, what are some of the things like with the women beaters, and what do you consider about a person that will literally trigger a man that will trigger a woman to get a response? Like, how do you feel about that? Because I see that's something that happens too. That a man will literally trigger, um, or you know what I'm saying, different things to and try to hold a woman accountable for her response. Or you know what I'm saying, they hold people, they try to hold somebody accountable for responding to the behaviors. So we're not doing that. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that with nobody. Right. I'm just saying. So yeah, if you're tuning in from YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're tuning in from, StreamYard, BFAM, listen, make sure y'all tune in. I'm waiting on the input. I appreciate it though. Nobody should trigger. It's tough love, work that shit out. That is true to, but again, and I'm gonna say this but that's toxic to me. And I really feel like that's toxic. And I feel like those are behaviors when sometimes some things need not to be worked out. Sometimes there are some situations that you are in when people continue to make certain decisions, they're making a decision. So at some point, somebody got to realize that one person is not important enough. Because if a person is important, then behaviors that are done that makes a person respond a certain way wouldn't be done. When a person love a person, they wouldn't try to trigger them. They wouldn't do that. And I've seen it done multiple times. I've heard certain responses from certain men. Like I told y'all, I got cussed out, baby. I be getting cussed out because I don't allow certain things. People trying to talk to me or maybe in my DMs, they come in my job. So I see it all the time. You know, I'm constantly around it. I've seen that it's more, and I've been seeing it in the young boys. Now I've been seeing a lot of that too, where it is that a person is supposed to accept inadequacies, and they're supposed to accept certain situations and behavior, but we don't address that when a woman, like I know we hear all the songs when a woman's fed up, but you know, you hear all these songs about what do we say to the men that have been warned, like the men that are continuing to take advantage of it, and then they use the excuse or, oh, you just trying to be a man. or in the households where there are women, and it's, women run households. There are women run households where the man is not doing or providing in those situations, and it's automatically supposed to be accepted. And then there are situations where the man don't want to take accountability, but he wants to be treated as a man. So Zoe, I'm gonna ask you. Show I already gave before, we gonna ask Show. How do you feel in those situations? Do you feel that if a woman is in the household, because not even with it being so much as, oh, I got somebody from one of the pages was comment. Yeah, so a man, hold on. I got a comment from Sharon. I'm trying to read it. It still says she's typing. But yeah, so we have a lot of women that are in situations. All right, Sharon. So Sharon says that she's in a relationship. She is the breadwinner in the household, and her husband is abusive. Okay, so listen, and that right there, a lot of times that comes from the fact that they realize that they are, and I don't want to say a failure, but sometimes they'll fail you. Because if you take it to the space that you blame other people for what you have not done, unless you have a disability or you have something that's truly keeping you from making money and being a provider, if you make a decision every day, you know what the bills are due. You know what you're supposed to do in a relationship, or you're supposed to know. You're supposed to be done communicated with that individual or those people. The people around you. You're supposed to know. I believe you're supposed to know what's expected of you wherever you go. And I also believe that if you're going somewhere, if you want to be a part of something, let's see, Amanda. I think women have too much power in relationships. We honestly don't know how to manage a household like a man does, just saying. Okay, Amanda, so let me ask you, are you the breadwinner in a household, or are you in a relationship where the man is the provider? Because I'm gonna say this, and I know there are a lot of women providers. I am a provider. I'm in a household where I am the breadwinner. I am. But what I will say is, it's not about running a household, because I can run a household with my eyes closed. And I also know that in certain situations, a man can only be as strong as the woman that's his backbone. And if a woman is the backbone, because as we see, men get up, yes, a man is supposed to be the provider, but if he does not have the nourishment, if he does not have a woman that's over here that's pouring into him, if he does not have that spiritual connection, if there are a lot of situations that this person does not have, then that person cannot lead. And I understand there are a lot of households that believe that they are being run, um, that they're being run by, by men. Let's see, my man's the provider, but I have ruined him to the point I don't like him anymore. I demanded too much power, and now he is a simp. Okay, and see, and we have those situations, and that is what we are discussing. So you are an individual, and you say that you ruined him. And I'm gonna tell y'all, everybody know that I am a wife. I was born to be a wife. That's what I am. That's who I am. I'm not changing for nobody. If a person cannot accept that and they are not able to handle that, by all means, they need to move on, because this is who I am, and I'm not gonna change to be somebody that I'm not. So, with that being said, I have allowed men, women, because I have been in same relationships. So I've been on both sides of the board. I don't believe and that's my opinion, that is the issue. Now, it may be in some households that we are women, and I did it. I have done it. That I have made a person, I have turned a person into, or I have shown a person a side that they may not have been used to. I did. I survived domestic violence from that. I was told by a person they had never experienced the type of love that I had given them. So I have, and I survived that. I've been in relationships with people telling me that they're in love with me. But the thing is, people can say they're in love with you, but I believe that they're in love with an ideal. And I also believe that in the household that you are in, truthfully, is my opinion again, a woman that feels that type of way, I kind of feel like she's somewhat being conditioned, because I believe in taking accountability for your actions. However, let's see. I hate to see females or anyone who gets annoyed by a person being too nice or a simp. They want abuse. Absolutely not. I don't believe that it's wanting abuse, but I do believe that sometimes if you're in a relationship, you want to be able to depend on the other person. And sometimes when you're in a relationship with some of them, what they call simps or whatever, you won't receive that because they are so busy with trying to just worship you, or they're doing too much. I'm not one of those type of women. And yes, that may be because I am a little bit more dominant, whatever, but I do want to be soft. I never want to be the woman that's running the household. I want a man that's going to provide, that can provide security, provide financially. That does not say that I don't want to help, and I'm not, over the top. I believe that 100%, 100%, both of us giving into the household, businesses, whatever we got going on, that is healthy. That is what makes things flourish, when you can communicate healthy. When you are in a situation where one person has become or is a so-called simp, or dealing with a person that is dealing with somebody that may be softer, and they have become complacent with being softer, I believe that they should go and all right, y'all. I apologize. I just feel like that they should go and be with people that want that, but I want it to be healthy for them. I don't believe that, because there's a lot of mismatching. Like you said, you ruin this man, and this man is like a simp, and you don't like being around him. There are men that have been conditioned. There are men that have spent their life being these people. And that's where, and that goes back to me saying that they get the short end of the stick. And it's a disadvantage to them, because if they are a person that has been in a relationship, or their mother has raised them where they've just provided them with everything, and if you always give it to them, that's when you get these people that don't know how to be accountable. That's when you get these men that believe that regardless of what they do, because they was born a male, they should be considered a man. I don't believe that I mean, there are some, but I truly don't feel that every woman that you run into that is running the businesses, and that are running the households, all of us and all of those women do not want to be considered dominant. And I don't believe that a lot of them want to be in the relationships where they are at a tussle with the male individual in the household, or the man that's in the household. But I do believe that it becomes toxic when one person is not able to accept where they're at within themselves. I believe that if you have a softer individual, then I believe that that person, or even in women, what I'm saying? When you have women that have become complacent, that those are in domestic violence relationships, those that are in situations, because there are women that look for abusive men. There are women that look, there are men that look for abusive women. Those are things. And then there are people that have been conditioned, that have been in certain situations, that will go into situations and to create those same situations in other relationships, because they're afraid of being healthy. And I know that sounds crazy to y'all, but there are people that is afraid of healing, because if you heal, you have to start to take accountability. In order for you to go and start healing, you have to understand that there's something that you need to heal from. In order for you to go out there and say, oh, you know what, this is what's going on. Let's see, women have to learn mind games to get what they want, especially wise. And see, I ain't got time for all that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to play the games. I just believe that we should be able to sit down, be and communicate effectively with each other, if that is what it's supposed to be. I believe that if you go into a situation with an individual and y'all are planning or doing whatever it is, I believe that being honest and walking into a relationship and telling the person, like, listen, this is what it is. I believe that, and we'll probably never reach that, but I believe that we need to become more accountable when we go into situations, that we won't end up with the so many men that feel like, oh, women are trying to take over. And so many women that feel like they have to take over, because a lot of women are put in situations where they have to be the stronger individual, because a person is lacking, or a person has an excuse, or a person has become, what I'm saying, complacent, or what does it say? Miss Amanda, I played that game, and like I said, now I am stuck with what I built, and it sucks. Exactly. And see, that's what. Okay, so yes, Amanda, and that I 100% agree with. I 100% agree with that. Like, why are we creating situations? And I'm glad y'all ladies chimed in. But I do feel that women, should be in situations where the man can lead, like the man that you can be. And that's what I tell people, like, but that's what I believe in as being healthy. But I still feel like that we have too many men or males that want to be considered men. Now, and I told y'all we was just talking about the men today, because next week we're gonna get on the women, but I'm talking about the men today. And I'm talking because we want to hold them at a higher, you know what I'm saying, standard. We want them to be at the top, those that want them to be at the top, but we want them to know that that's what they are. I'm gonna tell y'all something. When I have to go off on men, and it don't matter what men, young men, old men, in the street men, at work men, if I have to speak to a man, and I work, and I am in management, and I do the radio, and I do mentoring, and I do all that stuff. So when I have to actually speak to men, let's see, Walter, I love hearing these women with accountability when they build that monster. Just let us be men, and we absolutely agree, Walter. And that's what I'm saying. But I also want to allow men to be men, but I want them to be honest men. I want them to, when a man cannot fulfill those, what's expected of them, I feel that they should be able to be comfortable enough to say, you know what, I can't do this. This ain't what going on. And I want them to also understand when there are women that are put into those roles where they have to take on more of those challenges, that sometimes it's not about them wanting to take over. It's not a time for them to become a simp. They're not, maybe don't want to simp. Maybe they're just showing them that those are the areas that they're lacking in, and they feel as if they have to take on more of those roles. And again, that goes to the conversation where I need some of the men to step in, because do you all feel that this is an issue, that when we have men who allow certain women to take on certain roles, do we hold those men accountable for putting those women in certain situations, or do we hold the woman accountable for allowing those situations? As a woman, just let us provide and enjoy the ride. Stop judging us on things you think we need to be, or you will wind up like Amanda. Sorry, Amanda. Okay, so what if a woman allows a man to provide and to be the provider, and he is unable to do that, or is always the woman having to fill in? Then what do you say to those individuals, Walter? Zoe, Miss Annie, because I know you're gonna tap in. What do you feel like? How should those situations be addressed? If a woman is forced, or if a woman has to take on more roles and more responsibilities, do you feel that it's still a woman trying to be or trying to take over? Do you feel like a woman should still allow a man to be, you know what I'm saying? They should still have that role. If it is, and I'm not saying a woman that goes in and helps out when it's necessary. I'm saying that in situations where a man knows that this is who he is, if that happens, you either get a better man that fits your standards, or you adapt for love. That's the real only choice a woman should have. And I agree. I agree. I 100% agree. And I do. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I do. I believe, and I strongly believe, I believe that in situations where if it does not work, I believe that in both parties should take accountability. Both parties should be able to accept accountability for what they bring and take away from the relationship. I believe that in situations where things have been discussed between the parties, that one person should not be able to hold the other person accountable if they have not taken accountability for the roles that they play. I do believe that there is an influx in, she says simps. I don't want to call them simps, but I do believe that there are a lot of men that have been damaged. Damn, Walter preaching today. You right. Walter on a big one today. I'm proud of Walter. Good job, Walter. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, I truly believe that women and men should both take accountability. I believe that this is like I said, this is a much deeper conversation that it has to go deeper. We ain't gonna be able to tap because it's almost the end of the show. But definitely, if you still have input, y'all can go ahead and write in, because we're gonna be addressing this. Because I'm telling you, we're gonna have to do a part two. But yes, most definitely, I truly believe that in a relationship, um, and we're gonna talk about that whole boundary thing, because I know I heard people say, "Oh, well, you allowed that, so you allowed this person to do that." Yes, but what is the level of a boundary? Who sets the amount of time that a person has to accept? And do we call it that they're accepting it, or what if the person is actually believing in what the other person tells them? So, do we consider them as being simps because they are, you know what I'm saying, maybe um they said some stuff and you giving them the opportunities to just show you who they really is. And that's what I say. And to me personally, so if you're a part of my life, been a part of my life, I've heard some things people say, Auntie will let you overstay, you're welcome. No, Auntie will hold you accountable. And I don't believe that I have to sit there and address those issues all the time with you. However, if those issues are brought to me, wherever they are brought to me, and I'm just gonna be honest, I do not hold grudges. I do hold you accountable. So if you are in a situation and something happens, whatever, if you've never taken accountability for that particular situation, and then there are other situations that are being created um, because of this particular situation, I do want people to understand that when it says triggers and all of those things, when you go to in a situation, as we say, we have women that have taken on this dominant role. I do believe that there are some women that have been put in places of dominance by men. I do believe that sometimes the inadequacies, the decisions, the choices, I believe the audacity, I believe like a lot of different things play a part in those situations. But you have to actually know the individual that you're dealing with, because there are individuals that are genuinely that are that are less masculine, and then you have those that have chosen to make decisions because they can play on those characteristics in some individuals. So I do believe that this is, like I said, is a conversation that we're gonna have to most definitely come back. We're gonna run it back. Y'all lock it in, save it, download it. We're gonna come back to it, rewatch it, show it to somebody, show it to your homeboys if y'all watching, and y'all come back to Auntie, give me some input. I'm for real. Like I need to know this. These are situations that Auntie is dealing with, and I be wanting to know. I need input. I be wanting y'all to come talk to Auntie, tell me, so I know I'm a woman. And that's why I ask men. That's why I thank God for, Walter. I thank God for DC. I thank God for Zoe. I even thank God for Miss Annie and Amanda. I thank God for the people that actually come back and give Auntie, advice, and they come in and they chime in. That goes to everybody that's listening. I truly appreciate it. This information is being taken in, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm one of those people that actually look at everything from people's different situations from the sides. I like to have input because it gives me a better way of making decisions of how, and these situations, when I talk to other people, when people ask me questions, and I can respond better because I get input from everybody else. It's not just a textbook. Um, it's not just a textbook definition. So most definitely, I've enjoyed this show today. Y'all make sure that y'all stay tuned. We're going to tap back in next Thursday at 5 p.m. We're going to go back into this, Walter. I respect your sure. Most times you make sense. Thank you. And I know it's going to be sometimes that it ain't going to make sense to y'all, and that's fine. The ones that it needs to make sense to, it's going to. If it don't, then we're going to keep doing what we're doing, because that's the whole point of making it make sense. If sometimes it is gonna add up, sometimes it's gonna make sense, sometimes it's not. But we're gonna do what we can to get through to the bottom of it. We're gonna continue to work together. Blood don't make you family. It just makes you related. Again, if y'all make sure if y'all looking for any y'all, graphic designs, logos, branding, y'all reach out to Smooth Transition 656-214-9209. Mr. Show Out. And as you can see, he always does show out. Go ahead and reach out to him today for all of your art needs. Make sure that y'all tell them Auntie sent you. I'm gonna tell you something, Auntie sent you. If you would like to be a part of the Make It Make Sense with Auntie show, if you would like to subscribe, if you would like to become a sponsor, we do have a new subscription box that is coming out. For the subscription starts at $25. Make a $25 donation, you will receive the Make It Make Sense shirt. If you do that and you become if you join the membership, you will receive for $25. You will receive every month. You will receive a new design. You will receive some, different products that we have. I do have a discernment journal that is in the works. It will be released later today. So if you are watching Make It Make Sense with Auntie, you're looking for a discernment, a journal, you're looking for something to actually make it make sense, I do have some new products coming out. We do have some new shirts coming out with some positivity quotes for our children that have returned back to school. We do have the Mims and Friends collection that is being released. So you'll be able to order, the kids, the designs. I have some programs for customized programs for your children, for after school, for tutoring, learning. We do have, we still have the resilience. We have some ebooks coming out. So again, I truly appreciate each and every person that tuned in today. I thank you for tuning in with Auntie to make it make sense with Auntie. Make sure y'all stay tuned for BFAM Thursdays. Go and check out Annie and Zoe at 7. You got to go over there to speak that shit. Make sure y'all tune in to You Guys Are the Worst. And catch me back at 11 with BFAM News with DC, the sheriff, and of course, Mr. I see what you're doing. Don't forget to subscribe to Make It Make Sense podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the website, Make It Make Sense with Auntie.com. Go ahead and go over to the YouTube, subscribe, lock it in so you'll be notified every week when we come through. I got some new stuff coming for you. Tap in. Thank y'all for tuning in. Would like give you limits. Make sure you make it make sense. And we are out today. Thank y'all.